Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays. I am here at a Bloom Salon. I am the artistic director for Innersense Organic Beauty, and today I have a really special guest. We have the founder of Innersense Organic Beauty, Joanne Starkman, with us today. And as many of you know, she is a beauty professional. She's been in our industry for 30 years. And over the years, she's developed a really holistic and, in my opinion, unique approach to how she has her consultations with her clients. And we have invited her here today to share with us her 5 top questions that she asks her clients to sort of dive deeper into what she wants to learn about her clients in order to deliver the perfect haircut or experience for them. Welcome, Joanne.
Thanks, Alejandra, for having me. This is so much fun. I'm so happy that you're hosting these for us, and it's just so much fun to be a guest. So this is super exciting.
I'm so happy to have you. And actually, we have been wanting to have you for a while now. So I'm glad that it lined up and super excited to dive right in. You have been in our industry for quite a while, and I would assume that over the years, your consultations had developed into what they are now. And so take it away. Tell us all about them.
Thanks. I think what I have to start with is the idea of how I really see hair. And I see hair as more of a health practice. Of course, it is, about beauty, and we can talk shape and style. But I think as I progressed in my career, I really loved the aspect of seeing hair in alignment with our holistic self and our holistic health specifically. And so I feel like I developed or I moved into a consultation that really looked at the person in a holistic way, and in a way that they could touch in deeper, and I could touch in deeper with our time together to make that not only that session more meaningful or more impactful, but also to support them in a healing way in relationship to their hair. So do you want me to just go ahead and dive in with the questions that I ask, or do you have any comment on what I just said? Or
yeah, I absolutely love your philosophy behind our industry, us as hairstylists, because I mean, truly, I couldn't agree more with the fact that we are touching on so much more than just, the shape and the color. We're really diving into that person as a whole. And again, this is why I think that your approach is so holistic. And let's dive in. What are these?
The first question that I like to ask is, when was the last time you loved your hair? And for a lot of people, that either brings them back in time to a place, like maybe they're at a place where they really don't in the present moment love their hair at that moment. I mean, and of course you get a myriad of responses to that. Some people say, well, I love my hair right now, which is great. But then there's some people that can think back and go, and sometimes I have to kind of give them time and ask them to take a nice deep breath and to really reflect. I mean, you really get the gamut with that answer. I mean, people can be very neutral about their hair. They can be like, oh, love, I don't even know if I ever really loved my hair. Or, again, they can think back to a time like, oh, I was 14 years old and it was like my natural color and my hair was super, super healthy then. Or some people can say, there was a certain hairstyle that I had or a cut, and it was just really easy to style. And so I think it starts to kind of support them to reflect in a way of what is their relationship with their hair, just, and it brings them back to more of an emotional point. And so then the next question after that is, what is it you don't like about your hair? And oftentimes, surprisingly enough, even on the first question, people will start talking about what they don't like about their hair. And oftentimes it's really easy for people to just go on and on and on about the things that they do not like about their hair. So that's kind of why I like to separate those two questions out like that. And so I mean, I think that those kind of can bring up some emotion at that point. So
Yeah, those are powerful questions. You know, I typically start my consultations similar, except instead of asking when was the last time you loved your hair, I ask what do you love about your hair? And honestly, similar, but quite different because you sort of get people to kind of potentially time travel
mhm,
back and sort of have more of of an ex, an experience with a time period, you know, of
yeah,
their
well,
life
because
or something.
sometimes it's interesting, there is time periods in our life where we're happier with ourselves, like whatever it is, like, oh, I loved my hair when I was pregnant because it felt 3 times as thick. And so if somebody's wearing a very heavily layered haircut, but they really love their hair to feel thick, then maybe it's time to start letting the layers grow out and starting with a more blunt shape or something like that. I mean, there's just little subtleties and little cues that you can get from people, because sometimes we get disconnected from, I mean, let's face it, do we ever, any of us have like this ultimate hairstyle? I don't really know, but I think sometimes it's fun to kind of reflect on, like, where have we been and where do we want to go? And maybe we need to get back to where we once were for some reason. And I mean, it's all uncovering, I think it is very, very interesting. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think that, yeah.
I'm just thinking back on what you were saying about, you know, possibly somebody saying, oh, when I was pregnant with my child or something. And oftentimes we don't know necessarily how to describe what it is that we want.
Mhm.
And sometimes because we don't associate it with a time period when we did love our hair. And so in that situation, it's almost really easy to go back in time and you can visualize yourself. You can start to, you know, say, you know, really key things that would help a hairstylist really be able to craft something for them that is very specific to what it is that they actually like. Sometimes it's hard for them to say, I want it blunt, or I don't want a lot of layers, or I do want a
Right.
lot of layers, or, you know, I liked the freedom I had when, you know, so.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is interesting to uncover all those things. Yeah.
And
So,
so when you find that out, where does that lead? What do you follow up with?
so my third question is, so what is your regular, hair routine? Like,
Mhm.
what do you do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to care for your hair, basically? And so then that, is very obvious at times. Then it kind of points to how much time are they willing to spend on their hair? Like, is it, does it need to be a carefree style? Is it something that they like to style every single day? It kind of gives you more of an idea of like, what is their relationship to their care for their hair in that styling arena.
Right, and it's a really important question because it also leads us, the hairstylist, their hairdresser, to be able to sort of find the areas that are working very well for them and potentially learn from them. And also, if there are a few areas of, you know, maybe where they're not as confident or don't know what to do in certain situations, it really allows for us to help them either by explaining something a little bit deeper or going into why that's not working and why this would work, or, you know, things like that, which is just, you know, in a consultation, I think that that's where the client really will feel a sense of this is the right person for me or this is the wrong person for me, you know? And I've heard that a lot when people sit in my chair, and I have, you know, sat in other hairstylist chair too. And I do have this sense of ease when they are asking all the right questions and they are wanting to get to know me and my hair, my lifestyle. And it just makes so much of a difference. It really, again, allows us to be able to craft something super unique for them. So that's your third question.
Yeah, and so with that is, and what products are you using, during those routine, like what products are you using? And so then the fourth question would be, what are the products that you're using achieving the style that you're desiring. So is basically, are the products that you're using working for you? And so, and during that third and fourth question, I'm listening, and well, even throughout the whole consultation, I'm listening to the what the challenges are for them. So if they're, if their hair feels dry, or they want more volume, or, so I'm really listening to like what, and kind of starting to think like, what products or what solutions can I solve for them? What solutions can I solve to the things that they're challenged with?
Right. And oftentimes there's scalp issues associated with that too. And it really, allows for us to ask deeper questions in regards to, what they're drinking, and, if they're drinking enough water, and, maybe it's not even a hair care issue. It could be some kind of an internal issue. It could be something a little bit more serious. So, really diving into these questions allows for us to truly help our clients. And ultimately,
Totally.
they'll just love us forever,
Well, I mean, it feels so good when you can support somebody on their hair journey, right? And make them feel really good about their hair. I mean, it feels good for us as stylists. And so then my last question, which is probably my favorite question of all, is so what is the intention that you would like to set for our session together today? And so to me, I feel like it's super, super, super powerful that when we set an intention for anything, that we are going to set ground for something completely magical and remarkable to happen, like whatever that is to unfold. And so it's interesting because I think in the beginning, when I started doing that, I noticed that my clients would become off guard, caught off guard with that question, because it was like, well, what do you mean? Like, and I really, of course, love it when people can get into the feeling of things, because I know it's feeling that creates our reality, our thoughts that create our feelings that then in turn create our reality. And so to be able to put somebody in the highest form of feeling, to set their intention to be able to feel like, of course people will say like, well, I want to be beautiful. Well, it's not about the external thing. To me, it's more like, how do you want to feel? So I want our session to support me to feel, invigorated, enlivened. I want to feel a sense of freedom. I want to feel a sense of peace. I want to feel a sense of health and well-being and happiness. And that's where I really truly see that transformation happens in the chair, that it's a very healing practice, having someone work on your crown chakra in your auric field, and to be, running their comb and their fingers through your, auric antennae. It's so, so profound and so healing. And so I think setting an intention for this powerful session, puts us both in alignment, because really, truly, I feel like when we're serving, it's almost like something is being channeled through us, that I'm not even the one that's like performing the service or the practice. It's like I'm, just supporting that person on their highest path. And so it just feels good for me to be able to offer that up for them. And I think it's like I said, I've had people say to me like, oh, before I got here, Joanne, I was really reflecting on what I wanted our session to, what the intention was for our session. And oftentimes it ties in with just where they're at in their life. And again, I feel like hairdressing is a much more holistic practice than most people give it credit for. And so I think that, and just in life and on this earth, everything is more tied than we will ever know. You can't pull one thread here and it, for it not to unravel or unfold someplace else. And when you're working that closely with somebody in that intimate of a capacity, it's like there really is no boundary, not boundaries, that the lines become very, very blurred between what is going on. And so whatever I'm witnessing, I have to own, and vice versa. And I always talk about doing hair as a co-creation. And so I think that that's part of the co-creation. Anytime you're creating something, or any moment, I believe, is a co-creation, and we are, you know, on this path together. And so it's really, really powerful to be able to set an intention.
So deep. This is it's so good. I mean, I keep reflecting on my own experience with my clients, and, you know, hearing the way that you approach your consultations and sort of what you invite them to sort of transform within that period of time is so profound, because I've actually never asked them that question. It's something that I cannot wait to ask. I really could see that as being such a powerful, it sort of allows you to be present with that moment, and they get to have their own experience. It's like we're creating our reality. So if in that reality they're saying, you know, I'm hoping to invite in trust, or, you know, I hope to leave with whatever it is, you know, they themselves can say what they want and they leave with it, and you're just facilitating. You're there holding space, and you're, of course, doing the craft, you know. And I think that's what's so powerful about hairdressers, is that we sort of have this intimate avenue, this sort of access point to our clients, where yes, we know the art form, we know how to craft the actual hair, but what isn't always obvious is all of the energetics exchange and that kind of internal transformation that is happening. You know, it's so powerful. I love our industry. It sounds like you do too. You've, you know, created this beautiful line for us to work with, and that supports us as hairstylists. The affirmations behind the bottles clearly reflect how you see our industry and how you see hairstylists and hairdressers as healers. And I thank you so much for taking these few moments to share all of this with us. And I hope that you have a beautiful day. We are going to be having more Wellness Wednesdays. We're going to be having really fun topics. Thank you for all of the work that you do and for sharing all of your consultation questions with us. And yeah, we're gonna end our conversation for now, but to be continued. Hopefully,
Yes.
we'll dive into a lot more with you. But thanks again, Joanne.
Yeah, thanks, Alejandra, for having me. I really appreciate it. I love these conversations. They're very inspiring, and I know we have such an amazing community, and it's just so amazing that we are able to have these deeper conversations around hair. So beautiful.